Thank you, everyone, for coming and joining us at the Capital Raising Strategy session call. We have Joseph Crawford here. Joseph, take it away.
All right, all right. So I'm going to dive right in. I want to let me see. I want to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm just going to go through quick presentation, a walkthrough, and some training for really ultimately how to identify and locate, and more importantly, uh, communicate with high net worth individuals as well as high income earning individuals. So that is the lesson for today. And all right, so can you guys see my screen that says no money, no deal?
Yes, see it.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Perfect. Okay,
It's
so
it's not the PowerPoint, it's the whole presentation. Is that fine?
yeah. So I mean,
Okay.
so you can see both. You can see the side here. I mean, that's
Yes.
not. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Not a big deal at all. Yeah, I'm a. This is kind of a down and dirty, get it done kind of operation here. So, first things first, everybody on the call, I want to say thank you as well for having me inside of your group and inside of your network. I don't take that lightly. So it is my goal to make sure that what I bring actually brings real value, something that you can take once you leave here, this call today, and actually implement same day, next day, sometimes within hours, just depending on what your schedule is. But overall, like I said, value that you can take and you can implement immediately. Everybody on the call, as Jim was telling me, that everybody here is either trying to raise capital now or trying to learn how to raise capital. And that means that one thing that you realized is that in any business, but especially in real estate, if you don't have money, you don't have a deal. No matter how much work you put in on the front end, no matter how much work you put on the back end, if you can't pay for the deal, there is no deal, right? There's a lot of different strategies out there for which we'll kind of cover a little bit too for different kind of financing, strategic financing, and different strategies. But in the end, somebody's money is getting used. So my goal here is to help you with that overall. There are three different kinds of capital in business. And again, especially in real estate, there's the capital you earn, capital you borrow, and the capital that's invested in you. When you're working to grow your business, you actually have to make sure that at every step and at every turn, you are taking all three of these kinds of capital into consideration with what you do. Because at every step, each one of these types of capital and how you go about establishing and earning that capital actually affects your ability to earn capital in the other two categories. If you're here, then you know that the fastest path to success and wealth is actually understanding and knowing how to leverage OPM, or other people's money. And leveraging other people's money comes in a lot of forms in real estate. Uh, Assigning contracts, if you're like a wholesaler, that's leveraging other people's money. Creative financing strategies, that's leveraging other people's money, leveraging the equity that they have in their property. The Burr method, again, leveraging the equity, and what's also called equity flipping in some cases. Borrowing from the banks, borrowing from hard money and private money lenders is all leveraging OPM. There are three truths in this business, and those three truths are: one, the market will always shift; two, is no deal is the same; and three, you need to always stay competitive in any market, no matter what the market does. Otherwise, you will fail. That's what happens is there are a lot of real estate investors out there who get in one type of market. They go to some course, they learn how to be efficient in that market, but when the market changes, and it always does, they don't know what to do, and they'll usually lose everything and go back to, scraping and scrounging and trying to figure out how to make a deal work. So in order to do that, to be competitive, um, we need to be able to elevate your access to capital. Okay. And when I say elevate your access to capital, that goes back again to the three forms of capital: capital you earn, capital you borrow, and the capital that's invested in you. But before we go any further, I want to make sure that we are all on the same page and that we all agree that access to capital is one, going to increase the number of exit strategies you have in your deals. It's going to be able to raise your acquisitions game, and it's going to drastically improve your profit potential. Is there anybody on this call that doesn't agree with those three things? Good. I don't see any hands. I'm glad to hear it. All right. So my story in 30 seconds, probably less. I am an Air Force veteran. I'm a former firefighter here in Texas, and I have over 17 years in real estate funding. That started out as a mortgage loan officer and moved on to a broker, lost everything in 2008, and came back to the industry in 2015. And since then, I've been able to deploy over $21 million in private investor capital of other investors' money since 2015, which required me to be able to go out and find the people who had the money to invest. And that's what started me on this path of raising capital and learning the ins and outs to do so. Today's objective is to learn how to get instant access to the exact high net worth individuals that are most likely to invest in your investment opportunity. The tactics that we're going to be looking at are 3 laser targeted ways to find them, 2 can't lose ways to connect with them, and 1 mind reading skill that will keep them engaged. And this last one I think is really cool. It's really simple. It's a free tactic that you can use that'll help you understand what the market is looking for right now. What you don't need to activate these strategies and tactics is you don't need any special technology. You don't need any special sales skills, and you don't need to break the bank to make it happen. The alpha and omega of raising capital is don't wait until you have a deal to start. And more importantly, once you start, never stop. And I'm talking about raising capital. So high net worth individuals, there's 3 laser targeted ways to find them and connect with them that we're going over today. Strategy number 1 to find them is actually going to be something that a lot of people probably don't even know. And if this is something you've seen before or if you've heard of before, bear with me, but I'm going to go through this, from start to finish here. So the Inc. 5000 list is one of the deepest resources that you can get for people that, one, are high net worth or high income earning. Okay. They have the money. More importantly, they're too busy to be able to do this type of investing on their own because they're too busy running their business. And then also, they understand what it means to invest in something because they've spent their life investing into the business that they run. Family offices. That family offices, they are running and controlling the money of sometimes multiple different families or even businesses that have a wealth of income, a wealth of money to invest specifically in things that are made to protect the money as well as to grow the money. And then the last tactic of finding them is paid data. I think sometimes paid data goes overlooked or even undervalued because of the fact there's so many different companies out there that are doing different things, promising different things, and not really delivering on what they have. So once you've figured out where you're going to go, this is the information you have to have, okay, to be able to move forward. Obviously, the name of the person, the decision maker or makers, the company name, their date of birth, if you can get it, right? And these are not always necessary, but it's good to have. Their phone number, as many phone numbers as you can possibly find. That would be business phone, cell phone, any alternative phones if they have more than one business, as many numbers as you can find for them. Email, same thing. Every email that you can get, their home address, as well as a photo of them. And this is important just to keep you on task because if you're doing networking like in town, right? Having a photo of them is good because you may run into them in public and not even know it if you didn't have a photo or keep that in front of you to know what they look like. All right, so the Inc. 5000 list. On the document that I'm going to supply for everyone in the link, you are going to get a document that has all of the links to everything that we talk about today. So on the Inc. 5000 list, this is basically what it's going to look like. You're going to choose your search criteria for the type of business that you're looking for. You're going to select the company, search for the leadership, and also see if they have their LinkedIn posted inside their profile, which most of them do. You're going to confirm their location. And once you have their name and location, you can use that information, excuse me, and you can use some low or no cost skip tracing tactics. If you're already familiar with skip tracing and you already have an account, that's even better because you can do this kind of in mass, in bulk. But truthfinder.com, truepeoplesearch.com, those are some low or no cost strategies for skip tracing. And then once you skip trace them, you want to find the address. You can also verify that address through Zillow. You can also see if they've purchased any properties in the recent past. You want to get their county, so going to Zillow, using the county websites, and those are ways that you can also use to skip trace. But ultimately, you want to get as much information about them as you can before you start reaching out to them. And this is what it looks like on the Inc. 500 list. I just took some screenshots of going through the website for efficiency's sake. Once you go to the Inc. 5000, you're going to go to the year that you want. Right now, we're in 2024, which means that their list has not been updated. So you're still looking at 2023. You choose the industry that you want. And then once you choose the industry, you find the company that you're looking for, and then you want to go into their hierarchy and their leadership. This is just an example. This is a real person that I've actually reached out and talked to before. They are on my list. They have not invested with me yet, but I have spoken with them. Michael Rengel, he founded his business 2016. We've got his website right there, as well as his LinkedIn address to contact him. Once you have that information, search for him on LinkedIn, as you can see here. And you see on LinkedIn, it also showed me that he's in Miami. Use that information, go into my skip tracing website for free, and then I go and I see if I can find him and what information I can find about him and where he's located. I was able to find out that he does have a property in Miami, and that this was his main, his main home where he actually resides. Now, again, using Zillow can confirm these things, and you can see there, I put an arrow towards the county website, because on Zillow, you can use that county website to get further information and confirm that he is actually the person that's on the list, and he is, okay? So now that I have that information about him, what I can do is I can move forward with the next steps in reaching out to him, which I'm going to touch here in a second. The second way of finding high net worth individuals is going to be family offices. You can search family offices on Google, Bing, or however you search. You can search family offices. Once you find family offices, create a list. You're going to go through that list, and this is the important part. Research that firm. Find out what their mandate is. And when I say their mandate, it's what they invest in and why. Because you don't want to be knocking down the doors of a family office who only invests in technology if you're trying to get them to invest in you and your real estate projects. You also want to look at what their allocations are for their family office, because many of them invest in multiple different things, and they have allocations set for how much they will invest in each thing. So that's part of their mandate. So you want to find that out. You want to see what they're investing in, how much they're investing, and also how often they invest. Many of them have windows that they only invest between certain periods of the year, where it may be one quarter out of the year, and that's the only time that they make investment decisions. If you reach out to these family offices and you find out what their mandate is, when they invest and what they invest in, you may learn that they only make these decisions starting in June of every year. Well, if you've contacted them in April and they tell you June, well, you know to schedule an outreach campaign that starts in June. You want to reach back out to them, and actually probably before June, more like the mid-May, and ask them what their processes are. And so you can start that process with them. So get in contact, get contact info for the firm and the principal, and do what I just said. Reach out to them and get that information. Also find them on LinkedIn. Start connecting with the people on LinkedIn that are actually the decision makers in that family office. And the thing is if you can get them to give you that information, including their email, you are much better off. Make sure you don't spam them. But once you have that information and you start connecting with them organically, it makes it easier when you start actually communicating with them about your deal or your projects. Paid data. Paid data is probably the simplest way to get high net worth individuals. It's just lists. The important part is making sure that the people that you work with have reputable lists and they're not outdated, they're not old, that they also went about it in a legal and ethical way. So you want to when you get in these lists, you want to set your parameters, tell them how many leads you want, and confirm what's included in each lead. Okay. A lot of times you'll see these really low cost leads, and they may give you one email and a LinkedIn account, right? And that's not terrible, but you need to make sure you're paying accordingly. If you're getting a lead that's an email and a LinkedIn account, you definitely want to be paying in this 10 to 12 cents per lead, because that's something you can actually do on your own if you were to pay for a LinkedIn Navigator account. So it's $100 a month, and you can do the same thing, opposed to paying hundreds of dollars for leads that may not even be relevant for what you want. So now that you have your target, you've identified your high net worth individuals, you've identified your family offices. Now it's time to make contact. Now there are two can't lose ways to contact these high net worth individuals. One is what I call the special invite. Now this is using mail. A lot of people don't use mail anymore because they're so focused on the digital world. And the thing is because so many people are focused on the digital world, mail actually is starting to stand out. I would say in the past 10 years, it's actually been on the rise and standing out for getting responses, because people aren't getting swamped with these type of mail offers. Now, this particular offer gets an extremely high open rate, high engagement, high response, and it's also a soft introduction, and it's a perfect lead-in to a 4-part credibility call that I'm going to introduce you to here in a moment. And this is why it's special. One, my personal favorite is a black envelope, but you want to use an envelope that's not white, that has a color that stands out, and specifically the 4x6. And the reason why is because 4x6 envelopes are invitation envelopes. These are the envelopes people send when there's a wedding invitation, a birthday invitation, an event invitation. And so people are more likely to open it. Second part is you want to use a metallic paint pen and fine tip to write the address with. And the reason being, it's two reasons for the envelope as well as the pen that you're going to use. And here's why. So when people get their mail, and we all still get a lot of junk mail, that picture on the right is going to represent what you see. And I'm sure that looks familiar to most of us here. When you send an envelope that looks like the picture on the left, it's going to stand out. Even if you're in a sea of envelopes, that black or blue or even gold envelope, with the handwriting on it, is going to stand out. Now, one of the things that I didn't put in this particular presentation is there's a very special, specific cadence that you want to send, and I'll kind of cover it right now. What I do is I send out 20 per week, and then the following week I make the phone calls. I call each one of those 20, and I have a very specific phone call script that I use to reach out to them, just confirming that they received the mail, that they received the envelope, if they took the chance to open it, and what they thought about it. A lot of times they received it, they didn't throw it away because it wasn't regular mail, but they may not have had the chance to open it. So once you get on the call with them, and you tell them, hey, did you receive I sent you some mail, I sent you an invitation last week. Did you receive it? It would have been in a black envelope. Yeah, I did get that. Did you get a chance to open it and read it? You know what? I haven't. Well, if you have just a few minutes, you can go open it right now, and I can walk you through the invitation and why it's really important for you and your investment portfolio, right? And then once you start that conversation, they'll either tell you, I don't have time, or they'll tell you, yeah, one moment, and they'll go get it. If they don't have time, that's fine, but I can guarantee you they're going to go open it after that call. and then you can always follow up. But if they don't have time, always set an appointment at the appointment is what I say, or set a call at the call. So if you're on the call with them now, make sure that before you get off the phone, you set another time to call them back if they haven't had the chance to look through it. And if they have, at the end of the conversation, you're always going to set the next time to call them back. So even if they may not be considered warm at this time, they will be expecting you to give them a call back. Let's see here. Okay, so the 4-part credibility call. This is a very specific call structure. It works a lot like a funnel. And the thing about it is it's designed to introduce you to your prospect. It's designed to nurture and develop rapport with your prospect. It's designed to close on a money meeting in less than 1 month. And it also satisfies the SEC regulations, and it pulls high net worth individuals into your circle of authority and your ongoing nurturing campaigns. Call number 1, the intent of this first call is to simply start a dialogue and introduce yourself, your company, and why you're calling. And you're simply trying to engage the prospect. And the good thing about this is the perfect call to use if you also use the mailing campaign, where you send out that special invite and then you reach out to them and ask them if they received it. That's the perfect time to plug in this as call number 1. And then you're also going to use this as the time to start your indoctrination sequence, because you are going to ask them if you can send them some information. Call number 2, you're going to check and see if they actually received or read the information that you sent. Now, this is the beginning of that indoctrination sequence. And if, whether they have or they haven't, you move forward, but in 9 times out of 10, they haven't read it. So what you're going to do is you're going to remind them about it. And then you're going to say, do you have time? And I can pretty much give you a summary of what I sent so you can go check it out later. Okay. But during this call, you're also going to create scarcity, because you're not going to offer anything to them. Okay. You don't have any opportunities that you can share with them at this time. Even if you do, you don't. Okay. And which brings us to call number 3. At this time, this is when you're going to actually talk about your opportunity. Okay. And so you would call them back, ask them, like, would you like me to send the details over for you now for review? And this is not a sale. This is not a push. This is just an offer to give them the information. Okay. So now you've had 3 contacts with these people, and at no point in time did you ask them to invest anything. Okay. So you're creating rapport, you're getting the information out to them, and you're also getting them to understand that this is also not something that you offer to everybody, because otherwise you would have offered it to them on day 1. And then call number 4, this is where you talk numbers. Okay. Confirm receipt of the information you sent them, review the highlights, answer any questions. But on this call is when you want to get the commitment. And I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to be able to get, the full script and the layout of these calls and the template. Now, this is what I said was the really cool part, that you can do some market mind reading. Give me 1 second, because I just realized my phone, I'm sorry, not my phone, but my computer is about to die. I need to make sure it's plugged up. 1 second, guys.
Everyone take this opportunity to jot down any questions that you might have for Joseph.
Here we go. All right. Yeah, no, please do. Like, I know I'm going through this pretty fast, so definitely take notes. And afterwards, I'm going to be able to answer any questions that you have. And like I said, I will have some resources to share with everyone as well afterwards. So please definitely be writing down your questions. Okay, so the mind reading tactic that I love to use is it's a little website called answerthepublic.com. And they do have a paid version of Answer the Public, but they also have a free version of Answer the Public. And the good part is that we all know, for the most part, what our ideal prospect is. And so we also know the general topic and subject that we want to use. I mean, that we want to use to attract them the questions that they have and things like that. So you really don't even need the paid version if you can, zero in a certain topic, and you can just do one, maybe one a month, and then you'll see how this is going to be beneficial. So you go to answerthepublic.com, choose your keyword. For this particular one, I chose, raising capital. Once you choose raising capital, it's actually going to give you, like you'll see here, 559 results for raising capital. Now, the results they're giving you are the different variations of that term or that word that is being typed into Google search. So this is super powerful in knowing what people are thinking about and the questions that they have. And you see here, and I'll zoom in a little bit on this here, but it gives you a wheel, several wheels actually, and each wheel has different variations of either questions or terms that people type in related to the word that you typed in this case was raising capital. On each wheel, you can actually highlight and click on one of the questions or terms. This one is how to raise capital to start a business. And when you click on it, it immediately takes you to Google and puts that question in Google. And this is where it gets really cool. So one, you can use the information that they gave you here, and you can say, okay, these are questions that people are asking. So let me use these questions to make content, to make email campaigns, to put things out on social media, or even to pretty much mind read your potential clients and send out newsletters, okay, by knowing what people are asking today. So how to raise capital for your business. When you look at that, when it sends you to Google, scroll down just a little bit, and there's a section in Google called People Also Ask. So when you click on one of those questions, you're also going to get anywhere from 3 to 6 new questions that people are also asking on Google that are related to that top question. So it's really an unending resource for understanding your market. Okay, that's why I call it the mind reading strategy. Now, and the reason why it's good is because when you know what questions are being asked, you don't need to question if your content is relevant, and you don't need to question if your targeting is on point. So because in the end, once you're making and you're raising the capital that you want, it gets better when you're able to pay for some targeting, pay for some marketing, and that way, when you're putting money behind it, you're not just putting money behind, random ideas. You'll know exactly what people are asking and looking for. So when you're putting that money behind your marketing, it's actually targeted in the direction that you want it to be. Today, what we've covered is 3 laser targeted ways to find high net worth individuals as well as high income earners. A 2-part system to engage and get them into your circle of influence, and 1 market mind reading strategy to stay engaged and to do so in a way that's relevant to what they're thinking about. And to put this all together, like I said before, I have packaged up everything that I've covered here to help you get on your way to raising your first 1 million in capital raised. And if you've already hit that point, raising your next 10 million. And what's included in that is the full slide deck today that I just went through, as well as the resource links. The deck that you're going to get, all of the .coms and the links are hyperlinked, so you can click on them and you can get to those resources, the websites and things like that, as well as reaching out to me. Now, these methods are highly effective, but does take hours to cultivate the data and information needed to effectively make this work at scale. I personally want to help you in your real estate business and take it to the next level. I work with financial advisors, fiduciaries, wealth managers, fund managers, and alternative asset managers on authority-driven focused brand strategies known as the Invest Yes framework. Focused brand strategies, the reason why I call it that is because we're not building Coca-Cola brands that everybody knows, but we are building a powerful brand inside of the circles that we developed and that we create with our target market, so that to them, you are a Coca-Cola. To them, you are the authority, because everything we do is about building authority in the minds of our target audience. So those are the focus brand strategies that we work on. It's focus brand. I've heard people call them micro branding, but that is the Invest Yes framework. I want to play this because let's see. This is just what one of my clients has said about the framework that I use.
Joseph, you're gonna have to share your
Yep.
volume.
Okay. How do I do that on?
So when you go back to share, the box that pops up in the lower left-hand corner, it says share sound.
Okay. Let's see.
Where it
Oh,
says share
yeah.
screen.
Yeah, I just found it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
When he went
Can you
through
hear
the
that?
frameworks,
Yes.
Okay.
it was just kind of like it clicked because he just put it together in such a way that it was like seamless, it made sense, and I was just not stuck anymore. It just made a lot more sense. So like
So Tiffany, she is a syndication sponsor. She syndicates not multifamily, but single family properties, but she does so in portfolios. And her biggest problem was, she was kind of doing what a lot of people out there are doing, right? Like they were calling their friends and family, trying to build their network, which is the right thing to do, but their networking wasn't really targeted. And so she was kind of all over the place. And what I was able to do for her is actually plug in the framework into what she was doing, plug that into her existing list, and show her how to navigate that list to really target the people that will be most beneficial, and then also show her how, give her the data to be able to continue to build her list in a targeted way with the people that actually have the money as well, not just the means, but the want to invest in what she had. Um, these frameworks are designed to overcome limited market awareness, which is because most of us are not, again, we're not Coca-Cola. I'm not, I'm not a big name like Pace Morby, or I'm not a big name like what's the billionaire the guy. I can't think of his name right now, but there's so many names out there that people know because they are also internet, you know, famous. And a lot of us aren't. Most of us aren't. So we need to be able to overcome that limited market awareness and the limited credibility because we don't have that fame. And also, this market is saturated. Whenever you're talking about money, it's saturated and it's controversial. Ever since 2008, it's been a slippery road because people don't trust anybody anymore. Like when you can't trust your mortgage lender, like who can you trust? And that's kind of what 2008 did to us. And so
Mhm.
you got to be able to show one, who you are, create that brand, create that authority and trust. I'm going to kind of get off, well, not off topic, but off my path here. One of the things about raising capital you may hear is that a lot of people say you have to get them to know you, like you, and trust you, right? That's sales as a whole. Make them know you, like you, and trust you. And I'm just going to say one thing. The trust factor is BS. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Yes, you want them to trust you, but that is not the end all be all. And here's why. Um, if I'll tell you like this, my mom, I love my mom, right? I trust her with my life. Okay. But just because I trust her doesn't mean that if she was sitting in the cockpit of a jumbo jet, that I would feel comfortable getting on that jet because my mom is not a pilot. She doesn't have those credentials. She doesn't have the authority of saying that when I get behind in the cockpit, I'm going to get you guys where you need to be safely. And that's where I think people miss out on the know, like, and trust, because that's one of the reasons why they say go after your friends and family. Well, even if your friends and family do have the money and they do have the means, until that they see that exactly, and sometimes friends and family are harsher on us than strangers, but until they can see that you are capable of not only doing what you say, but doing it at a level that other people trust you, they're probably not going to invest with you. So that's where the authority comes in. So it's more like know, like, and have authority, right? Not so much trust. So I'll get off my soapbox because I could talk about that forever. um, but once you implement these frameworks, my clients and anyone else who comes on board, they're able to amplify their impact and reach in their specified market. A lot of us want to be want to raise our wealth. We want to elevate our wealth for ourselves today, for our families in the future, for our families, family in the future that we're not even going to be part of. And also we want to have an effect on the people around us and our community around us. For me, it's my family, it's my mom, it's my daughters, my wife. Like, that's where I want to have the biggest impact. I have friends that I've been able to help them build their businesses and show them how to grow their businesses and what to do. And that makes me feel really good. And so I know that a lot of people aren't just going into this for the money and the wealth, but they're also going into it for the things that they can do with their wealth. And so it's my goal to be a part of that, right? Like, when I take on a client, I want to be a part of the thing that they do to change their community. One day it might be somebody that changes the world, and I would love to be a part of that. So that's why I do what I do. And by implementing these systems and these frameworks, it allows you to do the thing that you do the best. Not all of us are good at these frameworks. Not all of us are good at sales. I'm not good at sales, but I'm great at frameworks. and the thing that you do is being able to deliver superior risk-adjusted returns to your partners and your investors. And with that saying, I'm introducing everybody to the Invest Yes Vault. I do consulting, but more than anything, like I said, I work with frameworks and also with data. With the Invest Yes Vault, you're going to get a data stack. That data stack has 100 in-market high net worth and high income earners. Now, when I say in market, what that means is in the last 30 days, these individuals have actually researched or reached out and requested information about something that involves them making a change in their investment portfolio. Okay. You're going to get 200 confirmed real estate landlords. Now, these are, if many of you are probably familiar with buyer's list, that's what this is. But these are landlords who have invested in multiple properties, and they are also in the position that they have equity that can be leveraged to invest in something that's a little more hands-off, like what you guys are offering as GPs. Now, the third part of that is a 300 list of 300 family offices. Now, these family offices are proven family offices. They are relevant. They are up to date. And these family offices do invest in real estate. Some allocate more than others, but all of them do invest in real estate as part of their portfolio stack. With that list, you're also going to get bonuses. Now, I will tell you that just that list alone, I usually sell for $897 for just the list. I also sell an ongoing membership to where you get a feed that comes in to you every month, and that's $500 a month plus the setup on the front. And none of that, I actually add in these bonuses that I'm going to give to you guys. Okay, the bonuses I'm going to give to you guys because of the network that you guys are in, the GOB, and I know that Jim actually attended a live event that I did with one of my other clients, and then I don't know if you guys got to see the interview that I did with Daryl, but because of that relationship, and also because I'm trying to build a relationship with your network, there's a lot of bonuses, and you're going to see that the value that you're going to get is going to be immense. So the bonuses, the attraction, authority, and activation stack. And what comes in that is going to be the custom mail campaign strategy and letter. And what we're going to do is I have a framework for that, but we're actually going to go through, and all of these things I'm giving, I'm going to sit down one-on-one with anyone who decides to be part of it. And we are going to build out your campaign for your specific offering, as well as who you are specifically. It's not just cookie cutter. Okay. You're going to get the 4-call phone sequence that builds authority and satisfies the SEC. You're going to get the LinkedIn outreach and follow-up sequences. And also the indoctrination and follow-up email sequences. Okay. And then finally, we're going to build your power pitch. Okay. There is a template that we use, but we customize it specifically for you. Another bonus is you're going to get the strategy and implementation. Okay. You're going to get a 2-hour personalized consultation that we're going to do to put all of this together into one seamless investor attraction and authority building and capital activating system. And then finally, to help you with your growth, for the 30 days after you enroll, you're going to get unlimited scheduled hyper-focused laser consultations. Now, caveat to these laser consultations, you can't just call me any day of the week at any time and expect to get a consultation. But what we'll do is you can schedule as many as you want, but the caveat is that when you schedule one, you're going to get homework based off of the question that you have or the problem that you're facing. You cannot schedule your next consultation until that homework is done. Okay. Now, sometimes that could take you one day and you can be right back on the call in the next 2 days. But sometimes it may take you, 3 or 4 days, depending on your time allocation and what it is you need to do. But the point is, for the next 30 days after your enrollment, you have basically unedited, access to me and me working with you. And to be completely honest with you, every client that I've ever had, that never ends. It just becomes the truth of the matter. It becomes less and less necessary after 30 days. So, but they always have access to me, and they always, can send me a text, ask a question, or an email. Now, this is another, let's see, another testimony here about the frameworks that I use.
You always want to find the latest and greatest and integrate it into what you're doing, but that gets pretty confusing and overwhelming pretty quickly. And I think he's taken all of that and distilled it into a method that anyone can execute on. One of the things I was most nervous about.
Oops, sorry.
You always want to find quickly, and I think he's taken all of that and distilled it into a method that anyone can execute on. One of the things I was most nervous about with engaging with the actual method is I didn't want anything that I produced to look cookie cutter. But I think that what I found is that if you do truly engage with the method and work through the various frameworks, what that really does is free you up to focus on your actual solution as opposed to worrying about all of the different pieces.
So, and that's just another, just testament to frameworks. And as he was saying, like, he was worried about being cookie cutter. The thing is the framework, it's not a script so much. It's not something that you just cut and paste. We follow frameworks to build custom versions of everything, of a framework that works. And as I said before, this is my story, right? Veteran, firefighter, 17 years in real estate funding, deployed over 21 million in private capital since 2015. The truth is that really didn't start until about 2017, which probably, I guess, is more impressive. But and that's who I am. But what's more important about who I am is why that's important to you. Okay. And the reason why that's important to you is because I work best with and I believe in frameworks and systems, objective-driven operations, seamless integrations, and the KISS method. And that's keeping it super simple. I'm really good at simplifying complex things, putting them into little boxes, and then making those boxes work together seamlessly. So you can get your custom list of 600 plus high net worth individuals, as well as the bonuses that I discussed, for only $397. If it makes sense to you, if it's something that you're interested in, I'm going to put the links in the chat when I'm done. You and I both know that finding and engaging with high net worth prospects can be an expensive and time-consuming challenge. And the struggle to find and identify those individuals who are willing and capable of funding, partnering, and investing in your cash flow and investment opportunities, the struggle is real. And I'm here to help you sidestep those struggles and use provable, tested data and frameworks to be able to get around that and make this capital raise situation as simple as possible for you. It does take work. There's no question about that. Anybody says that you can raise capital by using their system and you don't have to lift a finger, they are lying, okay? If they say that, hey, I've got this software that's going to do it all for you, they are lying. It always takes work because raising capital is a personalized process, and it's a personal process. So if they're telling you can do it without raising the finger, you're not going to be raising any money. The only one making money is going to be the person who charged you for their system. So that's a couple of things to think about. This is just another client who, Joseph is very knowledgeable about raising capital. His strategy is very efficient and client focused. Definitely an asset to have in your financial portfolio. These are clients as well. If you were to go to my website, jwcrawford.com, you'd be able to see some of these testimonies. One of the ones that I'm more proud about is one of my clients. These clients, they actually weren't in the real estate space. They are restaurateurs, and they were building a brand new restaurant concept. And, one of the things that one of them said was, it feels personal. It doesn't feel like we're just another client. And that made me feel really good. You've done everything you said. You instill confidence in me because I do take my clients and your success, and I take it very personally. And so everything I do, sometimes it may be to my detriment because I get so invested in seeing you succeed. So, I may get a little frustrated sometimes when I don't see my clients doing what they're supposed to do, but that's just who I am because I do care and it is part of me. I went into the military and I became a firefighter because I have a servant spirit. That's just who I am. And so, I get invested and vested with my clients and seeing them succeed. And I'm here for you guys. So that being said, I'm going to put this link in the chat, but if you want to use your phone right now and do a screen grab of that QR code, that can take you to the checkout. But I'm just going to put the link in the chat right now, and I'm going to stop sharing and start answering some questions for you guys.
Well, that was awesome. So, as you all have questions, go ahead and go to that reactions button down at the bottom of your screen and then press raise hand. That way, we can get them all in an orderly fashion. Thank you so much, Joseph, for your transparency. That was probably one of the most thorough presentations I have seen. And I know it's because you're a military man. That's about that's about how our church is run. So I heard those key words in there. You got to have that 90-day training, that backwards planning, all of that stuff. So I totally understand. So we have Stephen Johnson. Go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, Steve.
Hey guys. Hey, good to see you again, Joseph.
Yes,
So
sir.
I had the pleasure of being able to work a little bit with Joseph on some branding, marketing stuff. Joseph really has a solid approach that I personally appreciate how task oriented his stuff is and the homework that he gives. I know, I think I took a lot of his information about how to use LinkedIn away with me. And those of you who have seen me on there, you guys know 60, 70 days ago, I wasn't very active on LinkedIn. Now I'm active almost every day. Very much thanks to how Joseph kind of showed us some very simple stuff that I'm just implementing consistency. And I'm seeing a lot of traction in terms of people reaching out, getting them to podcasts, connecting with people, and just using it to its full advantage. It's a very powerful platform, and I only got to eat a little bit of the pie that Joseph's got there.
Steve, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. And yeah, make sure you download that document. Matter of fact, I'll get that to you anyway because just we're connected outside of this, but it just remind me to make sure I get that over to you.
Sure.
So does anybody, I want to make sure everybody knows I did put the links in the chat. The one link training resource document is literally the slideshow we just went through, but on the version that you're going to get is going to have live links. So you can click on it and go to where you need to go. And the other one is the enrollment page if you are interested in working with me directly inside of that program. Again, $897 is what I charge just for the data set. But because I am trying to build a relationship with this network, one, the price has drastically dropped, but I'm also including the one-on-one implementation of the strategies to use that data.
Awesome.
Questions? Let's see.
Just trying to look in here to see. I think you answered them as you were going.
Okay, but
There
I
was
don't
a
mind touching on them again if, yeah.
There was a question as to where they can find this video. So you all know that you can go ahead and like and share. I did drop the link to the YouTube pages for the GOB Network of Arizona and also the Commercial Multifamily Mastermind YouTube. That will likely, y'all know how quick Daryl is. So that will likely be up before the end of the weekend. So if you have questions there, we did drop in your website as well, Joseph.
Okay.
And we know typically Jim stays on the call, but he's actually in a different, I think, city and state at this time. So he's taking care of business, and Daryl may still be on a plane, just in
Yeah.
case y'all are wondering. So going back to your presentation and taking a look of all of the information, this information is fantastic, right? And it's so funny because I was just talking with my mom saying, I need someone to help me with my website. So I will most likely be reaching out because I need to set up that communication. But what triggered you to say, hey, I'm going to focus in this arena because I think that it is the most important that people need to know?
So that's a really good question. So it was kind of, I mean, I gave you guys like the like 30-second high level overview of like who I was, how I got there, right? Because I just really didn't think that that was what was important today. But to give you a little bit more, so I started out as a mortgage lender, like I said, 2008, got my butt kicked, right? Like from 2008 to 2010. I actually went to the fire department after that. So because it was like I lost everything, right? There, got beat up and, and lost everything. I was like, I need to do something I'm familiar with. Went to the fire department. I was a medic in the Air Force, and so went to the fire department. Just made sense. But my daughters were growing up, and during that time I was at the fire department, I was missing a lot, man, like a lot, a lot. And there was one particular event that kind of made it that was it for me. One, they they were going to Disney World for like a cheer thing, okay, and it was like it was hard to afford, right? So money was an issue, and the other thing is the fact that I couldn't go, right? Like, so I had to, because it was like, I had to work to be able to afford it. And you know what I mean? And so, you know, while they were there, I worked a 72-hour shift, 3 days straight, right? Didn't come home. And it turned out to be a pretty hard